I wanted to find out what is the most attacking tactic that I can use in FM24 that would still actually work. So I took over the reins of the goal scoring machine Man City, and I wanted to see if I could win the Premier League and the Champions League while still scoring a ridiculous amount of goals along the way. I left the backroom task to my director of football, who did me a solid and signed Gabby Barbosa to help up front, and signed a new assistant manager who will hopefully ensure the right players are selected. All that's left now is for you guys to subscribe to the channel and wait and see the craziness that unfolds. Oh, and don't forget to hit the like button and let me know in the comments below what your most attacking tactic has been in FM24. Attempt number 1, and a couple of the rules I'm setting for myself. I need to have a very attacking mentality and have at least 2 players as strikers and at least 5 players between the attacking midfield and forward lines. This one may just be the dumbest tactic of the lot, but let's see how it plays out. Well, 7-5 in the Community Shield against Arsenal is a hell of an entertaining start, but then a 6-0 loss to start the Premier League, that was awful. But hey, we beat Fulham 5-1 away from home, so maybe it'll be okay. Okay, so I didn't even make it to December before I was sacked. How can you sack a manager who beats Man United 4-0 in the Premier League? Right, maybe it was the losses to Liverpool 5-0 at Anfield, and then being destroyed 9-2 in Dortmund behind Nicholas Füllkrug hitting 4 past Ederson. Jadon Sancho running the game against us with a goal and 3 assists is definitely a sign that this isn't good. But hey, at least we broke the Premier League record for the most combined goals in a game with a 7-6 loss against West Ham. And then I got my marching orders after losing 8-3 to Brentford at home. So let's try attempt number 2. And it's very similar, but we're sticking a midfielder in the centre of the park, so we've only got 6 up front. Those wide defensive areas though, it's all red. Despite a terrible 4-0 loss to Arsenal to start the season, we lumped 7 past Fulham at Craven Cottage. They did score 5 of their own, of course. Not long after, we put 8 past Chelsea at home, doubling their goal tally in an 8-4 win. But it came crashing back down to earth when Porto put 8 past us in Portugal. We managed to get past Brentford this time though, beating them 7-3, but then we conceded 7 to Real Sociedad in Spain, with Mikel Oyarzabal scoring 5 times. Hey, we're in January and I still have a job. Okay, we're in February and I no longer have a job. Mr. Apple sacked on the 10th of February 2024 after a 4-3 loss away to Newcastle United. But what should have been the final nail in the coffin was a 9-0 absolute demolition by Liverpool at Anfield in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. How I survived after that day, I have no idea. So let's get to attempt number 3. Learning from my mistakes that our defensive wings were getting overrun, I decided to play with some wing backs. Which then means I need to take out those central midfielders and put another player up top. Well, I didn't need to do it, but it was way more fun this way. Damn, look at the middle of that park, it is all red again. A 6-2 loss to Arsenal to start the season. Oh boy, this is not going to go well. But at least we keep beating Fulham, 4-1 this time at Craven Cottage. Come January, and we're sitting in 4th place on 35 points. We have 66 goals in 19 games, but have conceded a ridiculous 54 goals in that time. How's this for a hell of a game? Erling Haaland scored his hat-trick goal to help salvage a 6-6 draw against Brighton at home. So at least it fits the bill of being very attacking. More so when we beat 10-man Sheffield United 7-0, as well as we then absolutely batter Crystal Palace 8-1 at home. Checking out our performance in the Champions League group stage, and we see a pretty decent effort coming second to Inter Milan, scoring 25 goals in the process. So maybe we should be able to see this one through. Let's head to the end of the season to check out the results. And I got sacked after the last game of the Premier League season. We bowed out in the Champions League round of 16 to AC Milan 5-2 on aggregate, with a 2-1 loss away from home, confirming our elimination. And then after a crazy set of wins of 8-4 and 8-3 in the league in April, May was a much tougher month, with bad losses to Bournemouth 5-4 and Crystal Palace 2-1, to end the season, meaning the board gave me my marching orders. We'll soon go on to attempt number 4, but before we get there, just so you know, it's my birthday today. So if you want to give me a present for absolutely free, you can just subscribe to the channel for me and click that like button. I thank you always for the support you guys have been showing, it's been awesome. Back to the attempts now, and let's head on to attempt number 4. Not going with the fullbacks this time, but mitigating that, hopefully, by having 3 at the back with Rodri, the defensive midfielder, in front of them. Yeah, we're not going with Phil Foden at the back, I just forgot to press best 11. And to start the season, it was the usual story with a loss to Arsenal away from home. But then a 5-1 win at home to Everton and a 5-4 win away at Craven Cottage. And this one should go pretty well, surely. Once again, Erling Haaland is having a field day with this all-out attack. Come January and we're sitting in 3rd place, but with 2 games in hand on Tottenham in 2nd place. 62 goals in 19 games is a pretty decent effort so far. You can see with the schedule here that we were mainly just dealing in wins and losses, greens and reds everywhere. I told you Erling Haaland was loving this all-out attack. Here's another hat-trick, this time at home to Chelsea in an amazing 7-2 win at the Etihad. But it wasn't just Haaland getting hat-tricks, with Kevin De Bruyne loving the shadow striker role, as he scored a hat-trick in the 5-0 demolition job of Brentford. But when we look bad, we really go off the boil. We ended 2023 with a poor 3-0 away loss to Everton, not even registering 1 for our XG in this one. So then we head on to the end of the season, and they didn't even let me finish the season, sacking me before the final 2 games. That's really harsh, surely. I mean, we were scoring goals for fun, including this incredible 8-6 win at home to West Ham. Bernardo Silva getting himself a hat-trick with Julian Alvarez a late brace as well. We destroyed Man United 5-2 in the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinal, progressing through to the semi-final after only losing 3-1 in the second leg. So what could possibly have caused the board to make such a harsh decision? Alright, that might do it. We lost 8-0 in the second leg of the Champions League semi-final to PSG, losing 12-3 overall. In fact, that was the end of a ridiculous run of 6 losses in a row, conceding 28 goals in that time. Yeah, I probably deserve that. Moving on to number 5, and let's get back to having some fullbacks. This time, I decided to use a variation of a tactic that I had used to fantastic effect in a save I had with FC Groningen, going unbeaten for 3 seasons in the Eredivisie. However, the midfielders are aligned further forward with a central midfielder, 2 attacking midfielders, and of course 3 up front in this tactic. This time round, we had a monster 7-2 win at home to Everton. Haaland getting a first half brace and Gabby Barbosa getting himself a hat-trick as well. But then we lost 1-0 to Fulham. This tactic wasn't scoring an amazing amount of goals, but we generally were going around at a good clip. Come January, we were down in 8th place. However, we did have 2 games in hand. Surely I wasn't going to last that long playing this tactic, but we were comfortably through in the Champions League, finishing the group stage with a solid 4-1 win at home to Atletico Madrid, and we know how they love their defensive football. The second half of the season was much better, as we progressed our way up the table and finished in 2nd place. 114 goals at exactly 3 goals a game was a really good comeback after sitting mid-table halfway through the year. When we did score well, we did put some teams to the sword. I kind of feel sorry for Luton Town, having to pick the ball out of the net 8 times against us, but I don't really feel too bad for Tottenham, who we destroyed 6-0. But the best parts of the season were our runs in other competitions. We managed to make the Champions League final after beating PSG 7-5 on aggregate. Remember what they did to us in the last attempt. And we were also into the FA Cup final to play Liverpool at Wembley. It was Jeremy Doku who played the hero for us in this game, with 2 very late goals in injury time of the second half, sealing the game with a 5-3 victory. And then in the Champions League final, Erling Haaland scored in the 54th minute to put us 3-0 up, and Bayern could only score a single consolation goal for us to win the Champions League final 3-1. So there we go, the most attacking tactic I could find that actually worked. But that wasn't really our aim, was it? My aim was to win the Premier League and the Champions League, not come 2nd place to Liverpool. So going with the same formation, I decided to make sure I could optimise the rest of the tactic. We played wide football, passing into space, and being more expressive. We wanted to work the ball into the box with our highly technical players, and I changed our transition play to ensure we were countering, but not counter-pressing when we gave the ball away. And both lines would be high so we could step up more as well. Surely this will take us to Premier League glory now. Well, in January we were on top of the table, a point clear with a game in hand at Liverpool, but we were scoring plenty of goals too, with well over 3 a game. We won the Club World Cup with a 5-2 win over Atletico Paranaense, who had former citizen Fernandinho score in the 75th minute for them. We had plenty of big wins through the season, with 7 goals against Sheffield United and 8 goals against Bournemouth. Haaland scored 4 in that one. And in the Champions League we progressed comfortably, finishing off with this 5-2 win against Shakhtar Donetsk. In the Carabao Cup we progressed to the final with a 5-3 aggregate win over Norwich City, and then put 6 past Chelsea in the final, with new signing Marcus Thuram and Erling Haaland both scoring a brace each. The director of football sending out £81 million to bring in the fantastic Thuram to the side. In the Champions League, a 4-1 home win against Real Sociedad saw us go through 4-2 overall in the round of 16, before we went to Germany and got lumped 5-2 by RB Leipzig. Well, at least we can focus on the domestic competition now. Well, so I thought. Because in the return leg at home, we put 8 goals past Leipzig to seal our spot in the semi-final. What's even more amazing about this game is that it was 5-2 after full time, meaning we had the exact same score as the first leg. We took the tie to extra time with Julian Alvarez, Rico Lewis and John Stones all scoring to seal an incredible 10-7 aggregate win. In the FA Cup semi-final, we took on Liverpool at Wembley, and it was an incredible second half comeback, with Erling Haaland taking us from a 3-1 deficit to a 5-3 win, scoring all 4 of his goals after the main break. Moving on to the semi-final of the Champions League, and we are playing RB Salzburg, who would surely be no match with their young but talented side. And then they go and beat us 3-1 in Austria in the first leg, leaving us plenty to do at home. But this time we didn't need extra time to get past the Red Bull affiliated side, as we scored 3 second half goals to beat Salzburg 5-1 and progress to the final, where we will face PSG to take home the famous trophy. In the Premier League, we finished on top at the end of the season by 4 points with a ridiculous 126 goals scored and 56 goals against. Our goal difference average was almost +2 per game. So now, on to the finals. And firstly, we play Everton in the final of the FA Cup. And it's a spectacular 4-3 win with Julian Alvarez sealing the deal for us in the 83rd minute. A late consolation goal for Everton was not enough for them as we win another trophy for the season. And then finally, the Champions League. It was a very tight affair with 2 of the best teams in the world putting on a spectacle worthy of the biggest stage in club football. It was 0-0 going into the main break, but just after the restart, Erling Haaland found the back of the net to put us ahead. Then 15 minutes later, Kyle Walker moved forward without anyone tracking his run and slotted home a goal to put us 2-0 up. A late Randall Colomwani goal wasn't enough for PSG to get back in the game, as we incredibly won our 6th trophy of this amazing season. Just don't look at the Community Shield loss at the start of the season, which spoiled it all. What an incredible tactic this was. And when you look at the goals scored, Erling Haaland went into absolute beast mode with 70 total goals in 57 games, scoring 40 in the Premier League and 13 in the Champions League. Kyle Walker led the way with 20 assists ahead of Haaland and Doku, who both had 19. But have a look at those average ratings. There are so many players over 7 for the season. This truly is the most attacking tactic I have ever found that actually works. And on screen now will be my deep dive into the world as it will be 200 years from now. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content just like this. And have yourself a wonderful day.